Good morning all. Today we are going to read about absorption of drugs. The learning outcomes of this presentation. After the completion of this presentation, the learner will be able to list various mechanisms by which drug absorption occurs. He will be able to define the passive absorption. He will be able to understand the mechanism of passive absorption. Already we have studied about absorption, the definition of absorption, the definition of the drug, and to recall what is absorption. Absorption is a movement of unchanged drug from the site of administration to systemic circulation. It is one of the prerequisite steps. If the drug has to be made available in the systemic circulation, the drug has to undergo absorption. Before absorption of the drug, when the dose is given, it will enter into the stomach and the dosage form will get disintegrated or dissolve inside our stomach, and it will get mixed with the gastric fluids, and then the absorption process takes place. Some of the drugs will get absorbed from the stomach and enter into the portal vein, and the drugs which are not get absorbed from the stomach, they will enter into the small intestine and then into the large intestine. From the small intestine, the drug will get absorbed, but there is a negligible amount of drug metabolism takes place in the gut wall, and then it will enter into the portal vein. Once the drug will enter into the portal vein, they will enter into the liver, which is a metabolizing organ of our body, and then after metabolism of the drug, the drug will enter into the hepatic vein and it is circulated to different organs through systemic circulation. Now let us have a question here. When the drug is taken orally and it enters the portal vein, it undergoes metabolism in which organ, and such metabolism is termed as what? So this, please put a pause over here and then write your answer and show it to me tomorrow. Yes, when the drug is taken orally and it enters the portal vein, it undergoes metabolism in liver. Why? Because liver contains the maximum amount of metabolizing enzymes, and thereby the liver is an organ which will cause the metabolism of the drug for the first time, and such metabolism is termed as first pass metabolism. Though from the small intestine, when the drug enters, it undergoes the gut metabolism, but the amount of metabolism is very negligible, and here the very less amount of the drug will get metabolized, and therefore it will go to the liver through portal vein and it will get metabolized. Let us see the various mechanism of drug absorption. There are basically the three mechanisms which can be separated, and the first one is transcellular or intracellular. Second one is paracellular or intercellular, and the third one is vesicular or corpuscular. Today, in today's class, we are going to see about transcellular or intracellular mode of drug absorption. But before that, I would like to show you the schematic presentation, like how these three different mechanisms works. This is the epithelial layer, and these are the tight junctions. You can see the tight junctions over here, and you can see the epithelial cells. These are the epithelial cells, and these are the intercellular spaces. Now, as I told you, the first mechanism is transcellular. Transcellular means the drug will pass through the cells and it contains passive diffusion or carrier mediated transport. If the drug does not require any carrier or does not require any energy, it is known as passive diffusion, and if it requires carrier or some energy, it is known as active transport or carrier mediated transport. The second mechanism is paracellular, as the name suggests, intercellular. Like the drug will get absorbed through the cellular spaces, through the intercellular spaces, not through the cells. Okay, so then it is known as paracellular. And next one is vesicular. In the vesicular, the drug will get engulfed. So thereby it is known as endocytosis. The drug is getting engulfed inside the cell, and thereby it will get absorbed. Once the drug will get absorbed, it will be transported to the capillaries, and then portal vein, then liver. The same mechanism takes place. Let us see about passive transport. The passive transport involves one mechanism is passive diffusion, second is pore transport, the third one is ion pair transport, and the fourth one is facilitated diffusion. Let us see about passive diffusion. The passive diffusion is nothing. It is also known as non-ionic diffusion because it does not involve any ion interaction or anything. And most of the drugs, 90% of the drugs follows this mode of drug absorption. And it is based on the concentration gradient or the electrochemical gradients. Now, concentration gradient or electrochemical gradient is nothing. It is a difference in the drug concentration on either side of the membrane. The passive diffusion follows fixed first law of diffusion, which says the drug movement will take place from higher concentration to lower concentration. Let us have a diagrammatic representation how the drug moves from one higher concentration to lower concentration, or from one side to other side. So suppose this is our mucous membrane, and these are our drug particles, and the drug movement will take place from higher concentration to lower concentration. So this side, the downside is the low concentration of the drug, and upper side is the higher concentration of the drug. And this is how the drug diffusion or passive diffusion takes place, and this is how the movement of the drug takes place inside our body. So this is all about passive diffusion, and the reference for the same presentation is this from Brahmankar, DM, and Jaswal SM, from Brahmankar and Pharmacokinetics, 2nd edition, Vallabh Prakashan. And thank you for today. And in the next class, we'll see the other mechanism like pore transport and others. Thank you.